How did the Ballas manage to take over Grove Street, the once iconic stronghold of the families? To understand this, we need to dive deep into the history of the Grove Street families, their struggles, and the strategies the Ballas used to claim their territory. Let's break it all down.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
The story of the Grove Street family begins in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where we play as Carl C.J. Johnson, a member of the families. Back then, the Grove Street families were a dominant force in Los Santos, locked in a fierce turf war with their rivals, the Ballas. Throughout San Andreas, CJ and his gang fought to reclaim their territory, but things took a turn for the worse when CJ's brother Sweet was arrested and sent to prison. Despite CJ's efforts to rebuild the gang, the family's decline was inevitable. By the time of GTA5, Grove Street is no longer under the family's control. Instead, it's been taken over by the Ballas. So, what happened? How did the families lose their grip on Grove Street? Let's explore the key factors that led to their downfall. Abandonment and poor leadership. One of the biggest reasons for the family's decline was abandonment. In San Andreas, CJ was notorious for running away from his problems. He left his family, his girlfriend Denise, and even his gang behind when things got tough. This behavior caused a loss of respect among his homies, who often called him out for being a buster. In the HD universe, it's possible that CJ abandoned the families once again, leaving Sweet to face the harsh realities of the ghetto alone. Without strong leadership, the gang struggled to maintain control over their territory. Sweet, while loyal to the hood, was not the most effective leader. He neglected his gang members, failed to secure resources, and left the families vulnerable to attacks. The crack cocaine epidemic. Another major factor in the family's downfall was the crack cocaine epidemic. In San Andreas, we saw how drugs devastated the gang. Former members turned into crack fiends, some even switching sides to the Ballas for a quick buck. By the time of GTA5, drugs were still a major issue. In the mission Hood Safari, we see families members like Lamar and Franklin dealing with Ballas drug dealers. While crack cocaine made the families financially stable in the HD universe, it also corrupted their ranks. Members like Gerald were deeply involved in the drug trade, and the gang's focus shifted from protecting their turf to making money. This left them vulnerable to the Ballas, who were more organized and ruthless in their approach. They were a well-organized force with a clear strategy to take over Grove Street. Alliances and betrayals. The Ballas and families occasionally worked together, as seen when Stretch, a family's member, mentions doing time with a Ballas OG named D. However, Stretch later betrays Lamar and Franklin, selling them out to the Ballas to restore his own standing. This kind of backstabbing weakened the families from within. Ambush tactics. The Ballas were known for their viciousness. They often attacked their enemies head-on in large numbers. Grove Street, being a dead-end neighborhood with only a couple of exits, made the families an easy target. With limited escape routes, the families were trapped and overwhelmed during Ballas raids. Territorial expansion. The Ballas didn't just stop at Grove Street. They expanded their territory across Los Santos, putting constant pressure on the families. This made it difficult for the families to hold on to their turf, as they were constantly on the defensive. The families' internal struggles also played a significant role in their downfall. After CJ and Sweet disappeared, the gang fractured into smaller subsets like the Davis neighborhood families, Chamberlain gangster families, and Forum Drive families. These new factions lacked the unity and leadership needed to stand against the Ballas. In GTA 5, Franklin mentions that Grove Street used to be family hood, implying that the family's legacy had faded. Without strong leadership or a clear sense of identity, the gang became irrelevant. Members like Vernon took charge, but their efforts were too little. The family's once proud name was reduced to a legend, remembered only by a few. The role of the LSPD and corruption. The Los Santos Police Department also played a part in the family's decline. In San Andreas, the Crash Division, led by corrupt officers like Frank Tenpenny, manipulated the gangs to keep them at war with each other. While GTA 5 doesn't have a direct equivalent to Tenpenny, the LSPD's presence still loomed large. If a cop like Tenpenny existed in the HD universe, it's possible that they orchestrated conflicts between the families and Ballas to weaken both gangs. This would explain why the families were constantly on the defensive, unable to mount a proper counterattack. The final takeover. By the time of GTA 5, the Ballas had completely taken over Grove Street. The families, now fractured and leaderless, were no match for the Ballas' organized and ruthless tactics. It's likely that the family's remaining members handed over Grove Street to avoid further bloodshed, retreating to other areas like Davis. The Ballas, on the other hand, solidified their control over Los Santos. With their drug trade thriving and their territory expanding, they became the dominant gang in the city. The Grove Street families, once a symbol of power and unity, were reduced to a footnote in Los Santos criminal history. So, where are CJ and Sweet in all of this? While GTA 5 doesn't provide a clear answer, there are some clues. An NPC mentions OG Johnson, which could refer to Sweet, given his status as a respected leader in the 3D universe. As for CJ, it's possible that he abandoned the gang once again, leaving Sweet to fight a losing battle against the Ballas. The fall of the Grove Street families is a tragic story of abandonment, poor leadership, and relentless pressure from a ruthless enemy. While the families once stood as a symbol of unity and strength, their inability to adapt and overcome their struggles led to their downfall. The Ballas, with their organized tactics and relentless ambition, claimed Grove Street and cemented their dominance over Los Santos. Was the family's downfall inevitable, or could they have turned things around? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.